You can't choose which stories stick with you and have an impact on your life. We all have that one piece of media that brings up feelings of cringe or shame, knowing that we actually used to like it. Maybe it aged poorly, or you developed enough critical thinking skills to actually see its flaws. When people ask me for my number one favorite show, I would love to tell them something respectable, something I can recommend to anyone, and something I truly believe is a masterpiece. But in good conscience, I can't. I would be lying to them and to myself. There is a show that has been rattling around in my brain for 4 years. Relatively few people have seen it. I very nearly dropped the show after the first episode because it was so boring. Yet, despite how much I know in my heart that it sucks, I can't help but think it really is perfect. I'm Postal Mortem, and my favorite anime is a 6 out of 10. Denpa Kyoushi, or Ultimate Otaku Teacher, tells the story of one Junichiro Kagami, your everyday average prodigy who only studied physics so that he could recreate a fictional technology from his favorite anime. After becoming an acclaimed scientist for designing advanced future tech that would save mankind, he fell off Walter White style and became a shut-in with an anime blog. Threatened by domestic violence, Kagami gets School of Rocked into a teaching job at a shitty public school. Only, Kagami doesn't want to teach physics. He wants to fight crime and help this one girl stop being bullied. It turns out vigilante justice is a fast and effective way of getting fired from your teaching job. The end. Psych! He gets recruited by this other girl to teach at her super awesome private school for prodigies. There's the super duper high school voice actor, the super duper high school soccer player, the super duper high school gamer, the super duper high school arrow manga sensei, the super duper high school ghost, and the super duper high school blood related little sister.
Okay, time to start the lesson.
Anyone who has seen even half as many shows as I have are pointing at their screen right now saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I've seen this one before," and I assure you, you're right. Shows like these are dime a dozen, and it's next to impossible to build upon the genre of harem with a Mary Sue self-insert protagonist and actually make it good. The Bad Take Police will not come after me for saying, at a glance, the show is ass and not worth watching. Then why? Why did I push past that first episode? What made me re-watch the show? Why did I spend so damn long making this video to tell you, viewer, this hidden gem is hidden for a reason? Because Denpa Kyoushi isn't a good show. It's just a show with themes and humor that resonated with me, that I shared and watched along with close friends at a tumultuous and pivotal time in my life. For those of you who are like me and love mindless trash so bad it's good writing and are sick of seasonal shows, or you're just trying to drink every time Kagami says he has YD, then please, I encourage you with 100% earnesty, clear a couple hours from your schedule. Go flip on the Denpa Kyoushi dub. It may be tempting to watch the sub with that stacked voice cast, but trust me. Maybe grab a couple of friends to make fun of it with you, because those experiences, unlike the show, are priceless. The rest of this video will be exploring some themes I found in the show that resonate with me. So, if you want to watch the show knowing only the bare premise and the content of the first episode, then go watch it now, and leave a comment with your experience. Enjoy. I would never have given this show a chance if not for sheer luck and circumstance. The only reason I watched it at all was because I made a bet, and this was the punishment. Me and my friend both watched it to uphold our scout's honor, and immediately quoting the dumb dialogue became a meme between us.
Okay then. Well, you get to pick out what we eat for dinner tonight, and I'll make it. What sounds good to you?
A whole table full of french fries!
The dub, while not as insane as Ghost Story or Heaven's Lost Property,
I wouldn't worry about that, seriously. I'm on drums and I barely know what I'm doing.
is still silly. It's the kind of show you laugh at and not with. Years later, I got a group of us together to rewatch it all in one sitting, and we spent most of the time joking and making fun of it, reveling in how ridiculous it could get at times. Nowadays, when shared experiences with the friends I've known for so long are more rare, I look back fondly on that first watch through, and how we still joke about it to this day. So, what does Denpa Kyoushi mean? Wait, no, that's not right. Denpa Kyoushi is a show about motivation. If you have watched one episode and you have 2 brain cells, then surely you can see that. There's no subtext. The protagonist outright announces every episode that he has a self-diagnosed fictional disease called YD.
I have YD. You say you've never heard of it?
Where he can only eat yummy dinners.
Wrong! It's a debilitating illness where you can only do what you yearn to do.
Where he can only do what he yearns to do. Kagami is a textbook example of gifted kid syndrome, a phenomenon where some children grow and excel at an extreme rate while young, and then burn out and lose all motivation when they plateau. He was a world-class academic, but he can no longer stomach working in the industry or writing papers, and instead works on an anime blog and drowns in escapism. Junichiro Kagami, for me, is one of the most relatable protagonists in all of fiction. I watched the show towards the end of my high school career, when the prospects of applying to universities and gathering credits to graduate was my whole life. The pandemic forced me inside and stopped my school for the year, accelerating my loss of motivation in academia. Much like Kagami, faced with even a single failure, gifted kids are quick to give up. It was great seeing this apathetic, pessimistic yet witty dude and saying, "Lol, he's just like me for real," because Kagami is designed to project yourself onto. I never really understood relating to fictional characters, probably because I prefer more fantastical genres, like fantasy, where characters have more grandiose problems than getting a job and hating going to school. Early on, I also opted to consume more shonen than anything, and never really gave romance or slice of life a shot until way later. Shonen protagonists rarely have identity crises, because they don't have an identity in the first place. So stepping out of my comfort zone watching Denpa Kyoushi, it was a new experience to care about and learn about these characters and their struggles. I would be remiss to not also mention the golden goose of Denpa Kyoushi, or I guess more like the golden egg? Luce, legal name Kotaro Araki. The star of my favorite and most hated arc of the whole show, unequivocally the best girl, and one of several nails in the coffin for my high school era repressed self. There are already videos covering everything I could possibly say on the topic of trans representation in anime through the lens of Japanese culture, but maybe one day Luce will get their own video where I explain just how poorly this character was handled.
You must never lose sight of who you are.
Everyone, my name is Kotaro Araki.
The Ouroboros arc for me is a perfect microcosm of the show as a whole. I remember all of the first parts so clearly and how Luce's introduction made me feel. How it reflected my thoughts about gender at the time, all the while doing a parody of another very influential anime that is complete shit, and evoking a sense of nostalgia. Then, the second half was blocked from my memory. Luce's confrontation and confession is just so bad. It is written poorly, and it makes no sense in the context of the show or characters.
He wants to go to battle with Luce. They're partners.
As incentive, I promise that if I win this fight, I will reveal Luce's darkest, most juicy secret to all of you.
The rest of the show is much the same. I only remember the highest highlights and the 10 jokes that made me laugh, but there is so much drivel. Having this drivel fresh in my mind as soon as I finish the show, even if I don't remember it now, is what made me rate it a 6 out of 10 in the first place. I rate media out of 10 based on my enjoyment derived from 1. Novelty of ideas presented, and 2. Utilization of the medium. Denpa Kyoushi is a trope-filled, cut-and-paste power fantasy with poor direction, animation, and a dub that you can only appreciate ironically.
Whoa, scary! My precious!
It passes because I actually sat through the whole thing twice without wanting to give up, but I can't give credit because of external factors. So yeah, it goes to show that even if you make the most piece of shit show ever, it might still resonate with someone. Even if you get swarms of hate for something you made, it is good that it exists, because it might have helped that one person. When I remember Denpa Kyoushi, I don't remember the idols, or the lolly, or the cringe, or the ghost. Actually, I couldn't forget the ghost if I tried. But I do remember the characters that spoke to me, the journeys they went on, and my friends who were there laughing along with me. To any average viewer looking with a pure objective film critic lens, the show is bad. Hell, 6 out of 10 might be generous. But we can't choose which stories affect us. We can't choose how anything will make us feel. And no matter how much we battle and reject it, those stories will stick with us. They show who we are, and they are proof that we have grown.
Now imprint this in your heart. This world is full of treasures to find. That's why you don't have a second to spare on things you don't love.
Denpa Kyoushi, the ultimate otaku teacher, is a 6 out of 10. And it is by far my favorite anime ever made. Thanks for watching.